be it from wind damage or possible tornado damage as it has tracked eastward. Salem, it is likely to be in your neighborhood as early as 8:20, Burrell 8:42, and bear in mind these are radar estimates based on the current's track and speed. Could come in a little earlier or later. But bottom line is, it's time to start taking shelter in Westmoreland County as that particular storm continues to move east. This map is one that we use to kind of pinpoint where the strongest winds are with the storm. It has been very consistent with the strongest winds right in the core, and this area right here just to the south of Murraysville appears to be where there was some and is some rotation. As you look, just moved through North Braddock, and literally before I jump back on camera with you, I saw upwards of a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust in North Braddock. So this is the core of the area that we're concerned about as it's tracking eastward, and it's moving so quickly at about a 40-mile-per-hour clip. So it is now time to start taking shelter in north of Greensburg, south of Salem, in areas that are in the path of this storm. Just to give you an idea here, there's Claridge, there's Penn, White Valley. South of Murraysville, it appears the storm has its strongest rotation, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're still getting some incredibly strong wind gusts there around Murraysville. Just a sampling there. Yeah, there's close to 60 plus mile-per-hour wind gusts in Murraysville as that cell is tracking eastward. Just going to put a quick track on this. If you're just jumping back in with us, we are back on air because a tornado warning has been issued for Westmoreland County now. And that particular warning, tornado-warned storm, does have a history of producing some wind damage southeastern Allegheny and Westmoreland. And this is the cell that we're watching very closely as a result of that hook right there as it is tracking eastward. Murraysville, the storm is just to your south. Likely, we're looking at the strongest winds with that storm just to the south of Murraysville, tracking eastward at 40 miles per hour. You see that notch there. That headed to Salem in the next 10 minutes or so. Latrobe headed in your direction around 8:30. And based on some of the damage reports we're getting, likely at least a severe thunderstorm warning, and at a minimum, and possibly even a tornado warning continuing there. Just to give you an idea, export, if you're watching us, that storm is coming up on you quickly. There's Route 22, and ironically, it's sort of run right along the Parkway West as it moved into western Allegheny County, and it's continuing now to track eastward. Exports coming up on you right now, the strongest part of this storm, 40 miles per hour, so time to take shelter in the lowest level if you have that. If not, an interior room, hallway away from windows, bathrooms are safe, closets are safe if you only have one floor, and take shelter as that storm continues to track basically right along Route 22 as it's moving eastward. Murraysville's just to your south now, it appears the strongest winds are. Getting another look here at the rotating winds as that system is moving into, just want to confirm too that we still are active. Yep, there's the tornado warning. If you're just jumping in with us, tornado warning for central parts now of Westmoreland County. We just had a tornado warning for central Allegheny County, and now that storm is marching towards Greensburg. Same cell, has a history of producing some wind damage. So if you are in the Westmoreland County area south of Salem and say north of Greensburg, right along Route 22, you are under this tornado warning as this particular storm does have a history of creating wind damage. So a dangerous storm moving eastward. More than 18,000 people at last check, possibly without power as a result of the storm as it moved through, and as it has also prompted a flash flood warning because of the tremendous amounts of rain that have fallen with that particular storm as it tracked through. Let me see if I can get an update on the wind speeds for you. Regardless of whether or not it is a rotating storm, it is producing the possibility for damage. So the tornado warning for Allegheny County, at least the portion for Allegheny County has been allowed, has been canceled. So I just want to confirm that. Yes. So tornado warning still in effect. This particular warning goes until 8:30 for Westmoreland County. You can kind of see there the amount of people that are involved, moving through North Huntington, stretching over to Greensburg, and tracking eastward. And it is basically running just to the south of Route 22, as it has for the last 45 minutes I've been tracking this, moving across the parkway. Just checking radar and kind of getting an idea here. I do not see as distinct of a couplet. I do see the possibility of some wind damage. There is a slight, yes, right around Export. If you're watching us from Export, it is in your neighborhood now. There's a 58 mile per hour, almost 60 mile per hour wind, and tracking eastward and headed towards Salem right along 422. Have not seen damage reports in eastern Allegheny County at this point, but I do anticipate that being the case as we watch that cell coming through. Westmoreland County, tornado warning continues until 8:30. Over Jeanette, moving at 50 miles per hour now. So I have not had a chance to calculate the speed, but now I am going to have to switch radars because we're now seeing this storm moving at such a quick pace. So bear with me as I jump onto a different radar perspective here to kind of give you the latest. You can make that out. The bright white right there representing some of the strongest winds, and the tan coloring, and moving eastward at 50 miles per hour would take it almost due east there at around 50 miles per hour. That's going to bring it into Salem within the next 5-minute period. So if you're watching us from Salem, this is the core of the strongest part of the winds, and it's headed in your direction. Latrobe by 8:30, Burrell and Ligonier. So literally the storm is blasting its way through parts of Allegheny County. It already has, and it's now making rapid progress through parts of Westmoreland County and moving eastward at 50 miles per hour. If you're watching us from Salem, it's time to take shelter in a safe place. As I mentioned a moment ago, an interior room. There's a 66 mile per hour wind gust. Just with that particular little core right there south of Salem, also north now of Greensburg, a highly populated area. Let me get a dive in here and get a look at some of the locators. Greensburg just to your north, just the distance on that is 5 miles to your north, Greensburg. So this thing is coming rapidly. And about 5 miles to the north of Greensburg between Penn and Claridge, that particular storm producing upwards of 70 mile per hour wind gust. Tornado warning continues as a result of that particular storm. The tornado warning for Allegheny, as I mentioned, has been canceled, and as has the severe thunderstorm warning. So just a recap, if you're just jumping in with us, we are on programming or breaking into programming for a tornado warning until 8:30 for Westmoreland County in particular now. The storm has moved out of Allegheny County, so it appears as though the threat or the most dangerous part of the storm is likely east of Murraysville at this point. Pittsburgh, you can move back into your safe space at this point. The storm, the most dangerous part of the storm is now in east of Monroeville. It appears as though you may be in the clear for at least the most dangerous part of the storm, but the areas around Salem, that is where I'm concerned, as I'm seeing a little bit of an uptick here in the wind speeds. Let me check the latest on the wind speed with that. There's 83 miles per hour. Wow.
Multiple calls for trees and wires down across Penn Township and Murraysville.
Penn Township in Murraysville. So here we are here getting reports of multiple calls for trees and wires down. So at a minimum, this is a dangerous enough storm to bring down trees and wires. This is incredible. We're looking at wind speeds possibly up over 80 miles per hour. That is just to the south of Salem, and it's headed towards Crabtree and New Alexandria. And I can't stress enough, it is moving at 50 miles per hour. So if you're watching us from those areas, it's time for you to head to your safe space. Just trying to see if we have any debris reports as of yet. Radar confirmed debris signature, yes. So Trafford, this storm now has a radar confirmed debris signature, which is an indicator that it is lofting debris and it has touched the ground. So dangerous storm moving now through Westmoreland County, south of Salem. If you're watching us from Crabtree, it's time for you to head to your basement. If you don't have a basement, I can't stress enough to head to a safe space, as we are getting reports now, excuse me, coming in around Trafford, multiple trees down and wires as a result of this storm. And just to give you an idea, outside of even the rotation part of this storm, there is the core of it right here, winding up with 80 mile per hour winds. There's an 85 mile per hour wind speed, and in particular, let me dive in here and give you a look at some of these roads. So Brick Hill Road, also Old State Highway 66, Beaver Run Road, this is on your doorstep. If you're watching us now, you need to be in a safe space. Jump onto our Severe Weather Team 11 app so you can get the streaming live broadcast that we have for you. But this is a very dangerous storm now tracking through Westmoreland County, Salem here, Forbes Road, headed over to Hannistown Road, 50 miles per hour. So literally very little time for you to take shelter. And time now to prepare. I want to broaden the shot here. If you're just jumping in with us, I'm tracking a very dangerous tornado that has been reported. The tornado warning, we have a confirmed tornado radar debris signature, which basically means that the storm is producing damage and has touched down. And right now, it appears as though the core of the storm is over just coming up on Crabtree and New Alexandria, and also just to the south of Salem. So the rotation part of this particular storm is increasing in speed. As I watched it move through Allegheny County, I saw 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, but now we're upwards of 80 mile per hour wind gusts or higher, likely closer to 100 mile per hour wind gusts as that cell is tracking eastward. There is Salem. It is just to your south. If you're watching us from Hannistown Road, likely as we are in a little bit of a lag with radar updates, this is on your...
It was one thing when my mom got Alzheimer's, but then we started noticing things that seemed off. She developed agitation that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Sometimes she'd fidget with her fingers, get suddenly overwhelmed, and even throw things. And that was just never her. So we asked her doctor what else we could do.
Rexulti is the only FDA-approved medication proven to reduce agitation symptoms that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which can be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, increased cholesterol, low white blood cells, unusual urges, dizziness on standing, falls, seizures, trouble swallowing, or sleepiness may occur.
Rexulti helped reduce my mom's symptoms.
Take action for your loved one. Ask their doctor about Rexulti.
11 Cares is Channel 11's commitment to Pittsburgh.
Together with our partners, we help our neighbors in need and make our town a better place to live.
Duquesne Light Company is honored to give back to the community with Channel 11. Join us by supporting 11 Cares.
To find out how you can be a part of our next event, go to WPXI.com/11cares.
11 Cares is sponsored by Duquesne Light Company, 84 Lumber, Clearview Federal Credit Union, Edgar Snyder and Associates, and Highmark Hole Care.
Introducing the Flash Force Tactical Flashlight. Its powerful telescopic zoom gives you a super bright light.
Eastport, as this cell has tracked through, it has produced damage in Wilmerding and East McKeesport, and I can't stress enough, if you're watching us from Burrell, boy, let me put a loop on this to make sure the direction. So the direction is basically running there right to the south of Salem, and it is moving at an incredibly fast speed. We've got at last report, it was moving at about 50 miles per hour, and I'll check that for you in a moment. But if you're watching us from Burrell, it's time for you to be in your safe space. East Wheatfield, Johnstown, and Winburn in the Westmoreland County areas, as that couplet is just producing some incredibly strong winds, upwards of 80, 90 miles per hour or greater as it is tracking eastward. Just confirming again, if you're just joining us, the tornado warning now being extended as a result of the storm I was just tracking there for you. Let me get the latest data for you. Tornado warning has been extended into Westmoreland County until 8:45. That for areas east of Greensburg. However, also continuing just to the north of Ligonier. If you're just jumping in with us, already getting reports of damage. So far, fortunately, no injuries. But the track of this storm has been very consistent. It has produced incredibly strong winds, and it does have a history of wind damage and many power outages, upwards of 18,000 at last check, as that storm is tracking south of Burrell. I want to get you back so we can make sure you're staying safe in your community. Wow. This couplet is tight and holding together, and you can make that out right here in the center of your screen. It just moved through Salem, so I want to make sure that I haven't missed any damage reports there in Salem. Tornado warning, just to get a locator, 5 miles northwest of Latrobe, moving at 50. So literally as fast as you can drive in your car, it's going to be moving in your direction. So there's Latrobe, and spot on, we're looking at this storm, the core of it, tracking into Burrell here in the next, likely in the next 2 to 3 minutes, headed to East Whitfield, or Wheatfield. Let me get a track here for you. A very dangerous storm. If you're just jumping in with us, unfortunately, we have multiple reports of wind damage with this, possibly some tornado damage. So far, fortunately, no reports of injuries, but I fully expect as folks are continuing to see the storm move through that we start to get some reports of more damage. Burrell, literally, it's coming up on you within as little as 10 minutes. I would go ahead now and head to your safe space in Burrell, and then eastern parts of Westmoreland County, and eventually headed into parts of Cambria County towards Johnstown. So let me clear this off and take another look at the radar with this particular storm. You can see this is all part of a line that has had, as I mentioned, the very strong wind gust with it, but the entire line has been advancing, and what we've seen is this little notch kind of jumping in and creating that tornado, and the couplet producing the very strong winds with it, upwards of 80 miles per hour, but also, unfortunately, creating that rotation. So if you're watching us from Burrell, this storm is screaming in your direction now, 50 miles per hour. It will be there in very short order and having the opportunity to produce tornadic damage. There is sort of the breakdown. We're looking north of Ligonier at this point, but it is the possibility of that couplet kind of drifting southward towards Ligonier is not out of the question. It has stayed mainly north of Greensburg, but we have had multiple reports of trees down in Trafford, We've had multiple reports of trees down in Oakdale, possible tree on a house. And we also, Amy, do you have a locator for the wires down? McLaughlin Run Road. So this is from the Bridgeville Police Department, and our anchor Gordon Lesh has some more information for us now. Road closure and lane restrictions now, McLaughlin Run Road. So the video or the picture you're looking at closed between Baldwin Street and Bower Hill Road. This, again, if you're familiar with the McLaughlin Run Road area, these are wires down, and it looks as though a complete transformer has been snapped off as a result of that system moving through. Thank you, Amy, for that update. I want to jump back in and reset. If you're just joining us again, we have a very dangerous tornado warning in effect. The storm has had some confirmed debris with it, indicating it has touched down and lofted up some debris. We have multiple reports of damage for areas in Trafford, also now in Oakdale as the storm initially moved through Allegheny County. You can see this tornado-warned storm moving basically north of Route 30 at this point, but also within that line, creating the opportunity for some very dangerous winds. This is truly something, this is going to end up being a long track tornado because the couplet has held together in that tan area there with just one little ping showing you close to 70-mile-per-hour winds. But this couplet has held together, and again, there's 30, there's Salem, and the storm expected to move into Burrell as early as 8:35, if not a little bit earlier, and then continuing to track eastward towards the eastern part of Allegheny County. Well, let me back this out and kind of give you an idea again of the areas that need to be taking shelter. And just a quick reminder here, if the storm has cleared your area, and we're talking here about eastern Allegheny County, you now are, or western Allegheny County, you now are out of the path of the strongest part of the storm. Beaver County, you are safe and clear. The rain in Pittsburgh not producing the heavy winds as we saw just a moment ago. South Park still getting some heavier rain, but basically Allegheny County now, you appear to be in a much better location in terms of the severe weather threat, much less severe weather threat. If you have pictures or video, you can upload those directly on our Severe Weather Team 11 app, and that allows us to let folks know what is coming. So if you're in a safe place and you have pictures or video in Allegheny County, please send us those. In parts of Trafford, sending out a request for pictures in Trafford because we're getting reports of possible trees down or damage in Trafford, Westmoreland County as well. Core of this, the strongest part of this storm, incredible that it's held together with almost 80-mile-per-hour winds now for at least the last 15 minutes. Sort of strengthening as it blossomed into parts of Westmoreland County. And this is what we were concerned about earlier, the possibility that the ingredients would be better or riper for strong storms and possible rotation south of Pittsburgh. And unfortunately, that's how things are playing out tonight. Greensburg, it looks like it's clearing your area, though there are still some gusty winds and heavier downpours. Burrell, I'm concerned about the area there just to the south, which would take it north of Latrobe. You can kind of make out that notch there, still somewhat holding together in just to the south of Burrell, and that particular area there. Bear with me now. I'm starting to get damage reports coming in. So we have now likely tornado damage in Oakdale. Power poles snapped. Oakdale, Allegheny County, a half-mile radius of damage there. Severe thunderstorm warning continues. Indiana now, severe thunderstorm warning. And tornado warning has been issued now for Fayette and Greene counties. So the southern part of this storm likely blossoming. So let me get back and get you an update on that. There it is. Fayette and Greene counties, you are now under a tornado warning as well. So let me, there's the newly issued warning for Fayette and Greene counties just being issued. So let's first get the locator on that and let folks know, if you're watching us right along the state line here, Chartiers, Uniontown, newly issued tornado warning for Fayette, Greene, Monongalia, and Preston County. So it's the northern part of West Virginia and the southern part of Greene and Fayette counties. So we're staying on air because of the active tornado warnings and the history of damage with these storms as they have just raked across Allegheny County and now are creating damage in Westmoreland County as they continue to track through. Latest on the tornado warning for Westmoreland County extended until 8:45, so we've got 15 more minutes in that location. I want to get a track here on folks in the path of this tornado warning in parts of Fayette County. So looking here south of Chartiers, let me get a better look at where the strongest winds are with this. Looks like the couplet is, the area of concern would be right just to the south of Whitley, headed towards Dunkard, and it is tracking at last check. Let me get a speed for you. Some of these storms have been moving as fast as 50 miles per hour. This particular storm is, moving 10 miles southeast of Waynesburg, also moving at about a 50-mile-per-hour clip. So unfortunately, that does not give you much time to take preparations or make preparations. Dunkard, it's coming up hot on you. It's moving at about a 50-mile-per-hour clip, and so that's going to take it into Dunkard here within very short time. Tornado warning for Dunkard, Nicholson, headed over to Georges, and likely into Uniontown as early as 9 o'clock as this storm continues to track eastward. So Fayette County, if you're watching us, this storm is also a possible damage-producing storm, as is the one now that is still in Westmoreland County, creating multiple reports of damage. There's a newly issued tornado warning now for southern parts of Indiana, and this is sort of in correlation with the area that moved through East Wheatfield. Just to give you an idea, let me get the latest on that. So the storm, is in Burrell now. I mentioned about 5-6 minutes ago it would be coming in hot in your area, headed towards East Wheatfield, and at last check, moving at about 50 miles per hour. That's going to be taking it through southern parts of Indiana County. Same storm, the one that has produced damage in Trafford, the one that has had as much as 80-mile-per-hour winds or greater, is now tracking into East Wheatfield and also headed to Nantiglow, and then eventually it'll be moving eastward. But a newly issued tornado warning now for southern parts of Indiana County, also a newly issued tornado warning for Greene County and Fayette County, with the strongest parts of the storm now beginning to track towards Uniontown. So basically, if you're just joining us again, we are tracking two primary tornado warnings, one that is sort of straddling into Indiana County, one that is also in Greene and Fayette counties, and unfortunately this one that is in Westmoreland County has a history of producing widespread wind damage. So likely this is going to be categorized as a long-track tornado that has produced damage in Allegheny County and now is tracking into Westmoreland County and headed just to the north of Latrobe, kind of getting an idea of where the strongest winds are with it. Burrell, the storm is on your doorstep. Appears as though the winds may have weakened a little bit, but even so, very strong winds headed to East Wheatfield, Latrobe. The strongest winds are to your north and west. There's Hillsdale, West Wheatfield. Time for you to be taking shelter. New Florence, time to be taking shelter, as this storm has had a history of creating some very strong winds. And it appears as though the cell in Fayette County is just starting to ramp up a little bit. So we've got moving eastward now at about 45 miles per hour. So that's going to make...
This has been a special report from Channel 11 News.